Hey, welcome or welcome back. Today we're tackling some of the best high-resolution DOS strategies, from alternate history tank battles to medieval sieges and cosmic empire building. As long as they were in high resolution and fun, we're gonna talk about them. So let's jump right into the action. In Command & Conquer Red Alert, you're plunged into vividly reimagined 1950s Cold War, in which Einstein's bold time travel experiment has erased Adolf H from history, only to unleash Stalin's Soviet war machine on a defenseless Western Europe. As a light chief commander and master strategist, cause you, so definitely brilliant, you must carve out a foothold from scratch, survey the landscape for mineral-rich ore nodes, build refineries and silos to store precious credits, and defend your burgeoning base with bunkers, sandbags and electrified Tesla coils. Also Tanya, everyone loved to play as Tanya. I mean, she was the Black Widow before the MCU. Each mission is a standalone strategic puzzle. One day you lead fast-moving NCV convoys, racing across vast tundra to deploy forward bases before the Soviets can entrench, the next you're tasked with raiding enemy war factories to cripple tank production, or defending a network of oil derricks against waves of infantry and airstrikes. So while the trifecta of resource gathering, base and units building and warmongering is sustained in Red Alert in its original form, the challenge lies in using what little resources you have at hand and correct coordination of air, sea and ground assaults. Whether you're orchestrating a blitzkrieg of medium tanks or launching guerrilla commando strikes, Red Alert's varied objectives and dynamic skirmish maps demand tactical finesse, split-second decisions and ruthless adaptability to turn the tide of this war-torn timeline. It's also fantastic in multiplayer, so 9 out of 10 for RTS fans. Master of Orion II is a 4X space epic that still dazzles with its 13 delightfully quirky races. The silicon-bone silicoids, the ninja-like Sakra, the secret telepathic Darlocks and others, each with their own cosmic flair. You start with just a lone colony ship and a dream to turn into a sprawling space empire. But soon enough you'll juggle a galaxy worth of tasks like a deranged space clown. So you'll colonize new lush worlds, blast barren rocks into habitable oases by terraforming, and even use mind-bending psionic powers that the few races have innate access to sway their rivals without ever firing a single shot. Along the way, you'll customize your empire's traits because you can be a peace-loving science nation or a ruthless warmongering power. The choice is always yours. When you're not hugging over trade pacts and treaty terms in glittering council chambers, you'll dive into the game's Starship Designer, slotting various weapons, different types of engines and other modules into bespoke fleets that reflect your ground strategy. Dispatch spies to steal enemy secrets or seed diplomatic chaos, then watch wars born and then burn empires when negotiations fail. Battles unfold on turn-based grids, which I love unconditionally and way more than real-time solutions, and reward cunning tactics as much as raw firepower. In the end, whether you triumph by forging a diplomatic alliance that spans light years, or by cloaking your foes with a planetary-shattering dreadnought, Master of Orion II keeps every empire-building fantasy gleefully within reach. Or if you're me, always on the edge of falling apart under its own weight, which is also fun in its own unique way. Blizzard expanded on the original's fantasy RTS formula by taking it to the sea with Warcraft II's Human and Orc campaigns, sending you on a globe-trotting romp through stormy oceans and enchanted archipelagos. You'll juggle lumber, gold and oil like a resource-savvy strategy genius that you are, marshalling platoons of footmen, majestic griffon riders and powerful destroyers to shell enemy harbors and raid their settlements. Along the way, you'll unlock arcane secrets by upgrading your town hall first to a keep and then to a castle. Then train human mages or orc warlocks, depending which side you're playing on, and send your airbound units to peer through the clouds and ambush your unsuspecting foes. Each of the sides, human and orc, has its own unique campaign, units and structures, and they both provide for countless hours of fun. In Warcraft II, every shoreline becomes a strategic battleground, as epic naval clashes collide with guard and cannon towers. The campaigns, other than being true to traditional RTS trifecta, also follow a classic high fantasy tropes, so you'll be liberating besieged settlers, hunting pirate galleons and smashing coastal strongholds, all presented by cheeky mission briefings that never take themselves too seriously. Between story missions, you can always dive into skirmishes or head-to-head multiplayer matches, customizing maps or swapping custom scenarios with friends. Some gamers even swear that the best that Warcraft 2 had to offer was that multiplayer experience. And I'm inclined to believe that, as most games are better with others. Warcraft 2 still stands as a playful, yet deviously deep classic where every decision, on land, sea or in the clouds, can tip the tides of victory. With Panzer General, SSI distilled World War II's grand campaigns into bite-sized hex-based scenarios. You marshal tank battalions and combined armed forces from the Blitzkrieg Dawn in Poland to the bloody Kharkov Spring Offensive, cutting through Europe like the wannabe dictator that you are. Well, you may not be one in reality, but in Panzer General I have no doubts that you are. You can actually play as allies too, as while the grand campaign cast you as the German Panzer General, you can still tackle standalone scenarios as allies. I hope that you know that I was only joking about that dictator thing. I mean, it was for comedic effect. And yeah, I know, it was not very funny, but you probably came here after watching some of my older videos and you do understand the level of cringe to expect. So yeah, more or less that much. Each combat scenario and each situation demand a hex-accurate choice. Either press on with armored breakthroughs, entrench at choke points, or orchestrate combined armed strikes. And since war never changes, any mistake, even seemingly insignificant one, can cost you the entire campaign. Supply and terrain matter too, and failing to ensure the earlier and overlooking the latter can be hella costly in the long run. Yeah, hella, because it's always mid-90s in my head. As prestige accumulates, you unlock grueling new missions, tougher assignments and beefed up opposition units. Master river crossing, forest ambushes and urban assaults, while balancing dwindling resources, unpredictable weather and historical flavor. Victory favors the bold strategist or one crazy enough to pull off the most daring schemes. Note that down, it may actually come in handy. Lords of the Realm 2 is set in medieval England and it's a mixture of turn-based strategy, real-time combat and economic management. Also cows. Oh, so many cows. After King's untimely demise, 5 nobles compete for the control of the realm, hoping to be the next Grand Ruler. You're naturally one of these nobles. And since it's in your best interest to oversee your domain as best as you can, you'll be clearing dense woodlands, tending fertile fields and erecting towns among others. Well, you'll delegate and not do it yourself, because rulers don't really hang around lower-class simpletons. As a king wannabe, you'll need to juggle peasant assignments, striking delicate balance between iron for armor, timber for palisades and grain to stave off famine. In fact, having stockpile and being prepared for anything, be it bad times, war or hardy winter, is the key to success. Counties' borders will shift constantly, and with each encounter you may lose or gain new land. It's a living and breathing realm, after all, and a lot can and will change before you eventually win the game. Castle sieges and field battles all run in real time and rely on impeccable timing, smart tactics and your keen mind. Also on luck, cause if you're anything like me, you'll probably misclick a dozen of times in each encounter, practically sending parts of your army straight to their deaths. Lords of the Realm 2 was a gem, and while its shine faded a little over the years, it still plays great today. Just imagine being swept into a medieval realm where your decisions tip the balance between glory and ruin. In Heroes of Might and Magic 2, 1996's turn-based masterpiece for DOS, you stake claim on a fractured kingdom after the late king's departure. Charming pixel art villages, towering castles, countless treasures and resources fill the world map, just waiting to be discovered. And whimsical creatures are there for you to challenge them in combat and emerge victorious. Or not, cause that's an option too. Each turn will see you explore the map, grab resource supplying locations, then spend those resources on your castle and town's infrastructure, and finally invest whatever's left into armies. Armies that your brave heroes lead, to conquer more land, free mines and sawmills and battle opposing forces, be it random creatures populating the land or enemy rulers. Combat encounters take place on a grid-based tactical maps and run in beautifully realized turn-based mode, allowing you to stretch that tactical muscle of yours using environment and your troops to your advantage, all the while supporting them with boosts or spreading death and destruction within enemy ranks with devastating spells that can turn the tide of battle if used right. Heroes level up with earned experience, gaining new skills and abilities, and every map hides secrets that reward daring explorers and brave adventurers. Heroes 2 is a perfect dojo for tactical minds and lore-loving adventurers alike, offering retro charm, fantasy setting and strategic hot seat multiplayer depth that still enchants after all these years. In fact, it's my most favorite entry in the entire series. Transport Tycoon Deluxe is a 1995 business simulation crafted by the genius programmer Chris Sawyer. It invites players into a pixel-perfect world of rails, road, airways and waterways, where each choice sparks a chain of shimmering economic possibilities. Managing a transportation empire never felt this playful and deep. Lay tracks between coal mines and power plants, dispatch steam locomotives, passenger and cargo ships, planes, buses and trucks on a map-transforming mission, and expand and upgrade on your fleet with progression of time. Transport Tycoon Deluxe balances accessibility with depth. You might start by building a short freight line between two locations or a series of passenger and mail-carrying buses, then marvel as your sprawling network needs to get towns, bustling cities and industrial hubs. Dynamic challenges, maintenance cost, fierce competition and ever-evolving vehicle technology keep you on your toes. Transport Tycoon Deluxe's ingenious blueprint sparked an enduring legacy. It lives on in OpenTTD, a free, open-source remake that faithfully recreates the original's quirks while adding modern enhancements like multiplayer and custom content. 30 years later, the thrill of turning raw resources into rolling fortunes still captivates both nostalgic veterans and newbies, and feels as fresh today as it did in 1995. Did you ever wondered what would happen if a huge mechanical spider alien landed in a metropolis the size of NYC? Well, wonder no more, because SimCity 2000 is all about that. I mean, it's not at all about that, but it takes the possibility under consideration. It invites you to play as mayor of your own pixelated city, complete with squiggly roads, gleaming skyscrapers and an occasional angry mob. Gone are the simple grids of its predecessor, now you get an isometric view that makes every building pop with three-dimensional pizzazz. Building bridges, tunnels and subways is downright enchanting when you watch those tiny trains chug along. Roads, power plants and water mains are all fundamental because no great city ever run on good vibes alone. And every zone, police station, fire department or stadium among others will not only offer your city a chance to grow, but also add pixelated charm to this sprawling and alive feeling diorama. But what's a city without a little chaos? A tornado, an earthquake or even the aforementioned mecha spider monstrosity, all of them will test your disaster response skills and pose fresh rebuilding challenges. Between balancing your budget and making your citizens cheer, or boo, cause that's possible too, SimCity 2000 delivers endless just one more minute play sessions. Whether you're a planning prodigy or a randomness addict, this DOS-era classic still sparkles with creative possibility and retro charm. Caesar 2 invites you to don your toga and step into the sandals of a budding Roman governor. In this charming city builder, you'll survey rolling hills and fertile plains, then plot roads, homes and docks to help your little settlement blossom into a thriving provincial powerhouse. You'll juggle taxes, trade goods like olive oil and pottery, and field requests from the all-powerful emperor, all the while keeping citizens happy and the traffic flowing smoothly. The pixelated graphics and jaunty soundtrack give everything a sunny, old-world fare even when your grain stores hit rock bottom. Beyond laying out villas and markets, you'll face everything, from barbarian armies to loss of imperial favor if your citizens go without food or services for too long. As your city grows, you unlock grander monuments, buffs and temples to prove Rome's undisputable greatness. Province Map allows you to survey terrain, build roads, forts and found cities, while Dual City Map is used for zoning of houses, placing of farms, olive groves, vineyards, potteries, administrative offices and others. Though the interface feels a tad quaint by modern standards, its intuitive menus make managing taxes and resources feel more like a puzzle game than a spreadsheet. Spend an afternoon with Caesar 2 and you'll walk away feeling like a history's greatest urban planner. Or if you're like me, you'll be left wondering how can you do so well in SimCity 2000 and only so-so in this game. Either or. Before Heroes of Might and Magic, Warlords II Deluxe was my go-to DOS classic that turned my grey box into a medieval fantasy playground. This deluxe edition cranks up the presentation of the original, giving it a brand new SVGA layer of polish, some more colors and faster screen updates. And it also packs a scenario builder that's so potent that you can whip out even entire total conversions, from steampunk sieges to sci-fi skirmishes, changing how the game looks, plays and feels. Provided you have a talent and an idea. And if you don't feel like doing it or lack skills, Warlords II Deluxe comes with 60 scenarios built in, and there are even more available online. Lord of the Rings, anyone? You just gotta Google it. Bring up to 8 commanders to the table in Warlords' epic hot seat multiplayer sessions, where every move is met with high fives and good-natured trash talk. Well, I got a bit carried away there. There will be hardly any high fives in reality, more like stink eyes and playful threats, but trash talk is more than a given. In short, no network, no problem, one keyboard, 8 players, endless rivalries. Whether you're forging empires on your lunch break or hosting a weekend siege marathon, Warlords II Deluxe delivers unbeatable replay value. Is what I would have said here if not for the earlier mentioned Heroes 2. Because while Warlords is truly a fantastic release, its life was cut short by the coming out a year later even better game. Warlords 2 is part strategy turn-based epic, part role-playing quests-filled fantasy romp and part social experiment. Perfect for proving once and for all who really deserves the crown of the best strategist. And you know what? A loser can always demand a rematch in Heroes 2. Panzer General is my most favorite game out of all in the SSI's 5-star General series. Sure, there are no tanks or planes or even generals in it, but boy oh boy, fun it does not lack in. It invites you into a whimsical clash of magic, steel and a dash of steampunk whimsy. Built on a modified Panzer General engine with added fantasy mechanics, this turn-based strategy lets you command countless units from 10 unit classes and 4 distinct realms, from hardy knights to arcane mechanical constructs, all on charming hex maps brimming with swamps, forests and volcanoes. You pick one of 4 heroes, each blessed with truly special abilities and their own set of uniquely themed units, and embark on a campaign to topple the nefarious Shadow Lord across 5 diverse continents, culminating in the volcanic Fire Isle, each with its own strategic quirks and terrain features. Between battles, the game keeps bureaucracy light, a sprinkle of recruiting, a pinch of research, and just enough gold management to keep the armies marching. No extensive supply lines or morale, just pure fantasy strategy goodness. With its bright sprites, simple yet surprisingly deep combat, and a soundtrack that somehow captures both epic fantasy and clockwork glee, Panzer General remains a delightful time machine for strategy lovers, proving that nostalgia never goes out of season. And that's another one for the books. 11 high-res DOS strategy duels that still hold up today. From sunswept tank blitzes to clashes with black dragons, these classics prove legendary tactics never go out of style. And with high-resolution presentation, they not only look great, but also play sweet. Which one will you fire up first? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button if you'd like to support the channel, subscribe for more retro deep dives, and ring-a-ling that ding-dong there, or the other way around, to get notified of new uploads. Thanks a lot for watching, take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.